Hi everyone, it's Jen. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be making one of these purses, and I thought I was recording when I was making this purse, but I was not. So we're just going to go ahead and make another one. We are going to put a little bit of a twist on the project. I'm going to make it out of, these are 110 pound cardstock, the material, and this is as well, but instead of just doing a plain yellow purse, I am going to add in some scrapbook paper. But before we do that, let me tell you the pieces that you're going to need. Once again, I said I was using 110 pound cardstock. The thicker the paper that you use, the better it's going to hold up. Okay, and when you're making a 3D project, if you use something like scrapbook paper or something more thin, it's just not going to have the durability as something that's more of a heavyweight cardstock. But the pieces that you're going to need to cut are, this one is 11 by 5.5. We have the two pieces for our handle. They're 1.5 by 11. These two are the trim pieces for the top of the purse, and they are 2 by 5.5. These are the sides of our purse, and they are 3 by 3.5. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to score this piece here, and I'm going to score it at, on the 11-inch side, I'm going to score at 4 1/4 and at 6 3/4. Put that aside. These two pieces are the trim pieces for the top of the purse, and I'm going to go to this, well, here, we'll go over here. On the 2-inch side, you're just going to score it 1 inch. You're going to score it in half. 2-inch side scored at 1 inch, so those are both scored in half. You're going to do the same thing to these pieces. On the 1.5-inch side, you're going to score it 3/4 of an inch. Going to score it in half on both of those. These two pieces, which are the sides, on the 3.5-inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch and 3 inches. And on the 3-inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch. Do the same thing to this piece. On the 3.5-inch side, we're scoring at 1/2 inch, 3 inches. And then on 3-inch side, we're scoring at 1/2 inch. And that's all the scoring we have to do. Let's bring these pieces back in. Just going to reinforce my score lines on the body of the purse, which is this piece. Then I'm going to bring in my scrapbook piece of paper that I'm going to attach to my cardstock. Now, this piece here is 5 inches by 11 inches, and what I'm going to do is take some of my thin 1/8 inch score tape and just go on either side, the long sides of my scrapbook paper, and I'll put a piece on. So we're just going around the whole thing. Just go along the outside and put some adhesive on it like that. Now if you use glue and you want to just kind of cover the whole thing in glue, you can do that. Basically all we're doing is attaching this piece to our cardstock. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I kept both of these pieces the same length so that I could line them up, because we're going to end up covering the top of these with that trim piece, so you're not going to see it anyway. So what I'm looking for is an even amount on both of these sides. So we'll match this side up, match that side up, and we'll just press it down like that. And then since we've already scored our cardstock, we're just going to reinforce those lines one more time, and this is what we have. Let's go ahead and grab these two pieces here, which are our trim pieces. Just give them a fold. And on these, what I'm going to do is, I always use score tape most of the time, 95% of the time. So I'm going to put a piece of score tape on either side of my score line, so right down the middle. And then I'm going to put a piece against the long side of both sides, both those long sides. You see the score line that we have right here, it's going to fit right over the top of our purse. So we're just going to go over here to this edge, line things up, make sure we're lined up over here on this side, and press it down. And that is on this side, and then it's on that side as well. Okay, so there's our purse for right now. Let's go ahead and do our sides. I like to do this, the trim piece, before I put the sides on because it's just easier for me to manipulate the body of the bag before I put the sides on. So what we're going to do is you have some little corners. You're going to cut those out on both of these pieces. And because this is the same on both sides, it's the yellow, it's not going to be that important here, but when I made these guys and I had pattern paper on one side and then white on the other, you want to make sure that you put your adhesive on the pattern side, or the right side, I guess, of your paper or cardstock, whatever you're using. So we're going to say these are the good sides, the pattern sides of our paper or cardstock. I'm going to lay adhesive right along those score lines on my flaps. So I have 3 flaps there and 3 flaps here. You have 1 bottom flap and then 2 side flaps. Okay, so we'll do the bottom flap first. Let's remove this adhesive backing. I'm going to bring in the body of our purse, and you're going to bend the flap down and you're going to line it up. And I do this by just laying it down, and then I can kind of at table level, I can even up my score line to the edge of my purse. So once again, I'm just going to fold this under so that my adhesive is getting ready to touch my purse. I'll line it up and give it a little burnish like that. So it looks like this. So now we'll take these off here. To make this project, technically you need 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So that's what I use when I made these guys here. I had 2 pieces. You will have some left over, but to start out with, you'll want to make sure you have 2 matching pieces of cardstock. Or I say that, you'll need 1 piece. Let me say that again. You'll need 1 piece for the body of the bag, the sides and the body of the bag. And then you need another piece for the trim piece and the handle. So you need a total of 2 pieces, but if you're doing it like this one and this one here, you need 1 pattern piece of 8.5 by 11 and then 1 solid color of 8.5 by 11. So now the body of our bag, our purse, is assembled. So you're going to take your fingers and just kind of poke in to the sides of the bag, and that's going to allow the front to come to the back. And then at this point they're the same. You can look and say, okay, which one do I want? I'm going to use this one for the front. And these are our handles, so we're going to fold these in half just like that. And once again, I'm going to grab some adhesive. And we're just going to simply fold that over on itself, and that will allow our handles a little bit more, they'll be a little bit thicker, and they'll stand up a little bit better. Get rid of that piece of backing. Okay, So now let's go ahead and install our handles. What I'm going to do is, I have an inch of trim right here, and I just so happen to have a little bit of inch score tape left. So what I'm going to do is on the end of each of my, on the end of the handles, I'm just going to put adhesive just like that. You don't want to go, well you can, but I don't want to go beyond my trim piece. So this just allows me a good measure to know that, okay, my adhesive is an inch thick. So that's how far I want to go up on my trim, or my handle. All right. Okay, so we're going to go about 3/4 of an inch or so away from the edge and put down one side of one handle. We're just going to spin this around and do the same thing. And then there's one handle there. Spin this around. There's another handle, so we will stick this about 3/4 of an inch from that side. We'll spin it around, and now this is going to be a little bit rigid, but once you get to working with it and it stays curved like this for a while, it will be perfectly fine. So I'm going to go ahead and just eyeball that and place that there. So there's your two handles. There's the body of your bag. Now on these guys here, what I did was I took my adhesive strips and I cut a piece and I put it so that these purses both close with the Velcro closure. I'm going to do something different with this. So if you want to do that, all you have to do is grab some. You can do Velcro dots or Velcro strips. And I just cut a piece and I put it in there, and that's that. But what I'm going to do to this purse is I have a piece that is, let's see here, it's a 1 1/4 by about 4 1/2. And then this is just an accent piece that I'm going to use, which is matching to our pattern paper. Let me find the end of my score tape here. So I'm going to just attach my accent piece. This is going to be a flap that we're going to fold over. So this is an extra step that I didn't do on my two examples, but I got to thinking, since I was going to have to make another purse, I wanted to do something a little different. So this is going to be the front, so I'm going to line this up, and usually I curve the ends of my flaps. I'm going to leave this one straight. Just kind of eyeball it so that we have the same amount of trim all around. And then I'm going to use it like this as a flap. So I think what we'll do is we'll just say right there is where we want to crease it. And I'm going to go ahead and grab some of my inch score tape again. Just stick a piece right here. So the score tape that I use, I have 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, and then the inch. And I use all of them. I would say I probably use the 1/4 of an inch more than anything. Okay, so we have installed our flap on the back side. We're going to bring our front over here. And then what we'll do is I'm going to grab some Velcro. And I have Velcro dots, which I don't see at the moment. So let me go grab, oops, maybe, here we go. All right, I have one left, I have one pair left. I'm going to stick one side of the Velcro at the end of my, on the inside at the end of my flap. Then I'm going to just match up the Velcro, and I have my adhesive part sticking out. So I'm going to match up my purse to how I want it. I'm going to lay down my flap and then just press down on that adhesive. And that's going to allow that Velcro to match up. Now I'm going to stick my hand in here and just reinforce that Velcro so that it hopefully holds a little bit better. All right, we'll fold this back down and get that to stick. Okay, so that's the purse for this time, which is the same thing as these guys. We just made it a little bit differently. I hope you enjoyed this project. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.